it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another one of my 5 favorites videos. Today's video is my 5 favorite books of all time, at least right now. It's hard for me to narrow down just 5 books as like my all-time favorite books ever, but these 5 books stick out in my mind for various reasons, and so I'm considering them my 5 favorite books of all time. The first book is John Grisham's A Time to Kill. This book hit me in all the feels. It is such a good story. It is a typical John Grisham book. In this story, Jake Brigance is a lawyer who is representing the father of a young girl who was raped by 2 men. And this rape has rendered this girl unable to, she's an 11-year-old girl, I believe 11, and it has been told by her doctors, you will not be able to have children. Her entire future is altered before she even knows if she wants to have children and what this means for her. And these 2 men are arrested, and before they even get a chance to stand trial, the girl's father takes matters into his own hands, and Jake Brigance, this lawyer, comes and represents this father. And all of that is horrible as is, but the kind of twist in this story is that the young girl and the father who Jake Brigance is representing are black, and the 2 men that raped this girl are white. And this takes place in Mississippi. Yes, Mississippi in the South. So racism is still very prevalent in this town in the South, and Jake Brigance feels like he has an uphill battle with representing this father. This book proved to me something that I'm sure many an English language arts teacher tries to tell in many classrooms is books can get you thinking about what your beliefs and what your values are and how you're going to react to certain situations that you may be presented with. And I loved reading this and figuring out how I felt about what was happening in this book. So really enjoyed this. If you like a good courtroom drama, you'd like this. If you like those hard-hitting issues in books, you would enjoy this. So A Time to Kill by John Grisham. Book number 2. I never thought this book would make my top 5. If you had told me 10 years ago that this book would be in my top 5 favorite books of all time, I probably would have laughed at you, but here we are, and it is. So that is The Martian by Andy Weir. I read this for my book club. When we were discussing this book and whether we wanted to make it be one of the books we read, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. This is so far outside of my comfort zone. There's no way. I read it and I loved it. And that is one of the reasons why this book is in my top 5. This book showed me that I can't judge a book based on its cover. If I saw this walking through Barnes & Noble, I would not pick it up just based on the cover. It has an astronaut on it. I would assume it's a sci-fi, and I would assume that I'm not going to like it because it's a sci-fi. But I loved this story. I cracked up. I felt like I got emotional. I was on edge trying to figure out if, what's going to happen. And I loved this. And yes, it's a sci-fi, but it's not like sci-fi with aliens and stuff. I really enjoyed it. And I loved that this book opened my eyes to reading books that are outside my comfort zone, because you never know what you're going to like. So The Martian follows Mark Watney. He is an astronaut. He's on this mission and something goes wrong and he gets stranded on Mars. He makes do, and it is interesting. Mark Watney is another sarcastic, kind of smartass male character, which is a trend in my life. I like those type of male characters. So Mark Watney fits right into my favorite type of male lead character. So of course I'm going to like it because I like a sarcastic smartass. But yeah, I love this book for what it is. I really enjoyed reading it. It was a good time, but I also loved that this book showed me that I can and I should pick up books that are outside of my comfort zone, because who knows what I'm missing out on by sticking within my comfort zone. So next up is a book that I read relatively recently. I just wrapped this up in September. I read it in August, I think, but it has quickly jumped to my favorite books of all time. And that is Summer of '69 by Ellen Hilderbrand. This book is the first book in quite some time that I literally could not put down. I had to keep reading this, and any book that makes me do that is going to jump up in my favorites almost instantly. When I get so engrossed in a story and so engrossed in the characters, so engrossed in the family that I can't stop thinking about them, and it's been months since I've read this, you know, the author did something right. So I still can't stop thinking about this book and these characters, and I love this family, and I love this book. I love it, and I don't know what else to say other than that. This follows the Levin family in the summer of 1969. I really enjoyed this because, well, it's taking place in the summer of '69, so you have the Vietnam War going on, you have the moon landing, you have Ted Kennedy's car accident all happening. This is like you're being plopped right inside their living room and just in the middle of this family drama. And, you know, family drama is family drama, whether it's the summer of '69 or the summer of 2019. Families are families, and I think it's a very relatable story, but you also get some of the historical elements of what happened in the summer of '69, but told from the perspective of an average American family. And I really loved this story, and I will recommend it to anybody that asks for a book recommendation. If you like historical fiction and you like a good family drama, this is a good book for you. Book number 4 on my list is the first book that I read, I think, because of BookTube hype. So I'm really excited that this is on my list. And that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So many people talked about this book, and I was like, well, it sounds good. I'll check it out. Read it on my honeymoon in less than a day. Fell in love with it. I have lent this book out to a few different people, and all of them have said the same thing, that they really loved it. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about a young Hollywood star, Evelyn Hugo, and her 7 husbands, and how she met and came to be married to all 7 husbands, and some other stuff happens, and it's just such a good story. This book is on this list because it's another book kind of like the summer of '69 that I couldn't put down. I would sit on the deck. We went on a cruise for our honeymoon, and I would sit on the deck of the boat, and I just read it. Like, I didn't want food, I didn't want to drink. I was outside laying, sunbathing, and just devouring this book, and that is exactly what I needed. I set myself a goal for 2019 to make reading more of a priority in my life, like it was when I was a kid. And this book kind of jump-started that for me. Up until I read this, I was reading a little bit more than I had, but I wasn't in love with it. And this book made me fall in love with reading again. You fall in love with Evelyn Hugo and the story that she is telling, and I needed reading back in my life, and this book gave me that. And so I am thankful to Evelyn Hugo for that. And my all-time favorite book ever is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is a few people in my family's favorite book, and I can't tell you why it's their favorite books, but I'll tell you why it's mine. I love Little Women because, I mean, it's a classic. I think it's timeless. While, yes, it is set in Massachusetts in the Civil War, the overall themes and messages of this book stand the test of time. Little Women follows the March sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, their mom, Marmee, and just their journey growing up and becoming Little Women, and the sibling dynamic, the sister dynamic is awesome. It's like, you know, Joe and Amy and their arguments, and like, you know, we're sisters and we're going to like butt heads and might not get along all the time, but at the end of the day, she's my sister and I love her. I mean, and some stuff happens that really irritates both of them, and they butt heads, but they still love each other, and that's a good message. And my sisters and I, my siblings, all of us, we have had some fights, but at the end of the day, they're my sibling, and I can say what I want to say about them, but nobody else can. So I have my siblings' backs, and the March sisters have each other's backs. It's just a good story. I try and read this at Christmas time because there's some good Christmas scenes in this. I will definitely be reading it this holiday season because I am interested in seeing the remake. So Emma Watson is starring in a remake that comes out in December. We'll see how that is. I really love the remake with Winona Ryder and Winona Ryder, Claire Danes, Susan Sarandon plays Marmee. Why can I not think? Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst plays Amy. And Christian Bale plays Teddy Lawrence, who becomes a very good family friend of them, of the March family in Little Women. I can't think of who plays Meg, though. It's unimportant. I'm talking about the book, not the movie. But that is a very good that's a very good adaptation. But I'm excited to check out the Emma Watson remake. Anyways, favorite book of all time. Love this. Great story. All right, so these are my current top 5 favorite books of all time. They each have a special place in my heart for different reasons, but each of them made me fall in love with reading even more than I already was. So yeah, I love them. Let me know if you have read any of these and what your thoughts were. I mean, most people have read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but if you've read any of these, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your favorite book of all time is. I would love to know so that I can check it out. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.